When I think about this, when I speak on it, when I say it out loud, I cringe every time. I'm like, oof, this is not good for the RV industry or the RV community. Not one bit. But it has to be said, the Tampa Bay RV Super Show will not be a success here in 2026. In fact, most of show season, as we call it in the industry, will not be a success this year. And it's because of one decision that was made, one, that has nothing to do with quality, nothing to do with politics, nothing to do with economics, none of that crap. But it's a decision that should have not been made, and I don't understand it. Welcome to HB RV Lifestyle, the podcast. I'm the host, John Livingston, aka the Honey Badger, here to give it to you straight and transparent about the RV business, as well as some other things. Now, before I get to that, I do want to go over an article by rvbusiness.com that I will link in the description box below. It's an accessory that's coming out, or has come out, I should say. No, it's not sponsoring this channel or anything of that nature, but it's something I feel is actually a game changer. And it's so small, and it probably will register like, you'll probably sit there and go, what? How could that possibly change things? Well, to me, it's a stepping stone in the right direction of where technology is going. And it probably should have been done 5 or 6 years ago. Bauer came out with a new door lock for RVs. It's got key pin entry, but it also is Bluetooth capable. Now, why is that so special? Well, you have to understand that if they can perfect that technology in a door lock, maybe we'll have better success with the command centers of most of these RVs being linked to one of our devices by Bluetooth. We've had a lot of big issues over the last 3 years with certain manufacturers, and I'm not talking about the RV manufacturers, I'm talking about their OEM partners that supply them with parts, that supply them with the technology that is ever growing. And one of those technologies is the command center, which is more prevalent in Forest River, Riverstone, and Flagstaff travel trailers, where you can go, hey, so-and-so, turn on the lights. Hey, so-and-so, put out the slide. That technology barely works at all. And a lot of you that own like a GeoPro or ePro Flagstaff or Rockwood, you guys can attest to this. It is a pain in the butt. But maybe, just maybe, if Bauer can get this technology right, which I have a feeling they will, it'll game change everything over the next 5 years. We may actually get where we can connect our cell phone and have better, easier, and more efficient access than we do now to everything in our coach. Now, a long time ago, and where I'm going with this is very interesting. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, when I first got really into travel trailers. At the time when I first got in this industry, I was more selling diesel pushers and Class C motorhomes. I didn't really bother with the towable side of the industry. But back in 2011, 12, and 13, there was a remote control that you could put out your slide, put down your jacks, put out your awning. And the brain part of that mechanism just wouldn't last long enough to make that technology stick. And now with all these incredible smartphones that we have, we're trying to mold the RV industry into our everyday tablets and cell phones and other devices. And there's been some success, but more failures than success. But maybe with this small piece of technology, if it works and works properly, maybe it will translate into a fix industry wide to make it more efficient and better. Now, if you want to read about it, I'm going to link the rvbusiness.com article. Again, I'm not sponsored by them or anything. I probably will never get sponsorships, which is good by me and fine by me. But the reality is that we do have something very positive going. Now, the last thing I want to cover before we get into the Tampa show, because the Tampa Bay show is going to be a benchmark and kind of a measuring stick for the industry, is there is a new arm of propaganda that is popping up through several media sources from TikTok to Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, and that is new RV podcasts are now popping up everywhere. And they're popping up with apparently the intention, at least two of them, with the intention of souring my name for whatever reason. Don't know why. It's just little old me. And what's funny is I know who's backing the podcast, and it's not the manufacturers. I personally know who the two knuckleheads that are trying to damage my name, who they're backed by, and it ain't Brinkley. Probably most of you are like, it's probably Brinkley or Grand Design. First of all, Grand Design has figured out that when they do something good, I give them props. Outside of one person at Brinkley, and we all know who that is, I think they've kind of figured out that when they do something really good, they get props from me, especially with their fifth wheel toy hauler lineup. I thought they did an amazing job here in 2026. And they're more than likely, they're not the best in the industry, but they're more than likely the best that are built in Indiana, which is that's saying something. And I'll talk about that in between a little bit later. That's like a video in itself, because I just cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs when it comes to Indiana manufacturers building fifth wheel toy haulers. I want to cringe sometimes. Not because they're bad, but because they don't think about everybody. They only look at, hey, look, we sell a lot of stuff in the southeast portion of the country, so let's just focus on those folks. Not the people out west that ride side-by-sides and have a bunch of race cars out in the middle of the desert. No, we're going to think about the little guy that has the Harley Davidson or the little dirt bike or just looking for the patio. I mean, that's a reality. I have proof of that in the pudding, that I've met a lot of GMs at different divisions of different companies, of Thor and Forest River and different companies, including Winnebago, that their mindset is, well, you don't really have to have a solar option because most people go and camp at plug-in campgrounds. And by the way, this does have to do with something too, because reality is it has something to do with the Tampa Bay show and the mindset of the Tampa Bay show. What is that mindset, you're wondering? It's tunnel vision. Literally, it's tunnel vision. So now you have the long arm of some corporations backing these podcasters that are, their intention is to basically make you think either everything's a pile of crap, or there's nothing wrong with everything, and everything that you see in videos online is all fake and AI. Oh yeah, I'm faking AI, eh? I mean, there's a fake version of me trying to sell stuff on TikTok, with a scam artist who's been taking credit cards. There's AI Josh the RV nerd. There's AI Matt's RV reviews. Hopefully, enough people have spread the word around. Don't believe what you see on TikTok if there's a weird sale on something. Hope to God people learn their lesson from that. But I digress, probably not. So why is the Tampa Bay RV show not going to be a success in 2026? The decision that was made, and I don't know who made it industry wide. I don't know why people just can't think for themselves. But there are too many RVs that are being launched that no one can afford or that no one wants to afford. What am I talking about? I'm talking about Class B or Class B motorhomes, or what you may call van conversions, highline, large, medium, and small fifth wheels that cost over $110,000, and high-end, highline travel trailers that cost more than $80,000. There's a ton of that being pushed, built, and laid out throughout the Tampa RV Super Show. Is there anything wrong with having a few niche items like that? No. But now you have everybody trying to copycat the Brinkley model, the Alliance RV model, the Airstream model. Let's build for the top 5% of the US and Canadian market instead of building for the 70% of the RV market. And it's not just high dollar travel trailers, high dollar fifth wheels. It's these Class B motorhomes as well. See, the truck camper industry, the truck camper arm of the industry, like Northern Light, Arctic Fox, Host, Adventure, Palomino, all the other little offshoot brands and independent manufacturers that are out there, are smart enough to realize our portion of the industry is this tiny. Tent trailers is this much of the entire industry. And that's why there's only really 5 brands. So you're rolling, you're pushing all your chips in the middle on stuff that costs between $120,000 and $350,000. You're all in. Why? Because Brinkley had a good year? There's a lot of Brinkleys still sitting on lots because they are overpriced for what the market is bringing. Mobile Suites has a lot of product out there that is just sitting. Lux, Riverstone. Why have we not learned our lessons? I understand there's more profit margin for the manufacturer to sell that product to the dealer. I get it. But the dealer still has to sell it. Why is nobody waking up and realizing, hey, there's a perception? It may not be reality, but there is a perception across the United States and Canada that the economy is bad. And that perception doesn't come from their paycheck or AI or any of that crap in the media. Fuck that shit. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with them going to the grocery store and their grocery bill hasn't gone down in 4 years. It keeps going up. They don't care gas prices are down. They go to the grocery store and they're spending more money at the grocery store than they ever have. Sorry, that's the perception. They're still going to want to go camping. They're still going to go and want to actually go on vacation. But those folks are like, hold on a second. Grocery prices haven't gone down. What can we afford? And they go in these shows because the show will have a ton of people. Don't get me wrong, they might break records this year with the amount of people that actually go. But the people that buy, that qualify, that actually take possession of the unit. Now, here's what's going to do well at the Tampa show. Travel trailers under 35 grand. Going to do excellent at the Tampa RV show. Toy haulers under $50,000 will do excellent. Motorhome, Class C motorhomes under $100,000 will do well at the show. Class A motorhomes, gas, they're under 150 grand, will do well at the show. But this idea that the industry is going to sell more than 6% or 7% of the inventory being over $125,000 retail, not what the MSRP is, what the unit sells for. If the industry really thinks that it's going to grow from 6 or 7% to 20% in 1 year, I want what you're smoking. I do. I want to sit there and go, what the hell are you thinking? Palomino will do well. Palomino fifth wheels will do really well. Reflection by Grand Design will do well. Cougar will do well. The cheaper Jayco fifth wheel will do well. Any fifth wheel that's sold for under 60, 65, 70 grand will do well. So there will be some successes, but you didn't shove your chips in all in on the shit that is guaranteed to sell. To maybe if we pulled our head out of our ass as an industry, maybe we would realize that instead of keep beating our head against the same fucking wall all the time, let's do something different. Let's go back to what we did during the Great Recession. Now, I used this example in another video, but I'm going to use a different brand. I used Brinkley last time. I'm going to use a different brand this time. Let's say Grand Design. Grand Design decides, you know what? Don Clark wakes up one day and goes, you know what? Let's slow down how many momentums we build, because that shit's not going to move very much. Not only the frame flex crap that we had in the past, but also because the dollar amount. Let's take and build a brand new travel trailer lineup that has the Grand Design label on it, that dealers can sell for $24,995. It's 26 feet with a slide out, has every little thing that you need. It's very basic, crank down jacks, crank up tongue jack, solar prepped, little electric refrigerator, queen size bed, couch, dinette, and a couple cabinets. And dominate sales in 2026. Because the minute a manufacturer does that, not cheapen the product they have now, but create a separate line that generates manufacturing, keeps your employees building, keeps the dealerships happy because they're making money, keeping the consumers happy because now all of a sudden, instead of them having to spend $400 a month to get a Grand Design product, now they can spend $250 to $300 a month and they get a Grand Design product. It doesn't mean it's going to be the magnificent Solitude travel trailer, but we have to get back to the freaking basics. It has to happen at some point. Somebody needs to raise their hand and realize that this $250,000 Class B motorhome bullshit is not 60% of the market. It's less than 2%. Some people's idea of overland camping is going to a lake and having no hookups. Not everybody wants a 4x4 van to go out in the middle of the godforsaken fucking desert and be out in the middle of nowhere with hardly any water, hardly any fuel, hardly anything. The people that do that, there is people that do that. And it may grow, but it's not going to grow to be the majority of the RV community. It's not. Stop this bullshit. Some people just want to hop in a Class C motorhome that has a little better suspension and go off on a dirt road to one of their favorite lakes, hit the auto level button on the jacks, have a generator as a backup to run the AC, some solar, and some decent batteries so their shit doesn't die when they're trying to take a shower. That's most of the people that dry or overland camp. The shit we see on YouTube is mostly lies anyway. Most of the van life YouTubers are full of shit. They stay in hotels. The only time they don't stay in their hotels is when they're doing a skit for their video or a live stream to make money from their constituents and their viewers. Are there some that actually live the lifestyle? Yes. But it's not the majority. Sorry, I get worked up about this, but it's going to cost people money. And this bullcrap propaganda everywhere is pissing me off. It's like, dude, stop trying to make the entire van industry, the converted van industry, to be the majority of the RV world. Oh, but people love to downsize. Yes, they downsize when the kids are gone. They downsize when they're done traveling the country. They're downsized when they've had the 45-footer and gone and seen every fucking national park. The real, true, full-time RVers in the YouTube industry, in the YouTube world, do not live in a fucking van. They live in a large travel trailer. They live in something that has a slide, space, water tank capabilities. Maybe they spent $7,500 or $10,000 or $40,000 or $80,000 on some solar setup. Fine. Let's build for the majority. Let's bring the industry out of the perception. Otherwise, it's going to be a long fucking year for every manufacturer, from Brinkley to Forest River to Winnebago to Grand Design to Genesis Supreme to Airstream. It's going to be a long year. So pull your heads out of your own asses and make the decision that's going to save the industry, which is build cheap travel trailers, build cheap motorhomes, give people an affordable option so that way they can take their 3 to 4 trips a year and feel like they're not breaking the bank. Because let me tell you, the grocery store makes them feel like they're breaking the bank.